Hi book besties, Trini here. Today we will talk about the books I have rated 5 stars. If you have read them, let me know in the comments down below. If you have not, I hope you'll fall in love with them just like I did. I have some of my favorite romance books with me today. The first book is Charlie, Love and Cliches by Elamis. So in this book we follow Charlie and William. Charlie had met William 6 years ago at a diner, and she thought they had a connection then. But William, after a week or so, William has ceased all contacts with Charlie, and then they haven't met again. Now he's back, joined her father's company where she works. It was so all unexpected, and the story goes from there. This was a 5-star rate for me. I loved the story, mostly the chemistry between the characters. I loved how Elamis has woven this story not only about romance but also about interacting with a family who doesn't cheer you up, who's not on your side, who does not believe in you, and connected only by blood. It was written brilliantly and blends in well with the rest of the story. So there's this dialogue I love in this book. Let me read it to you. So Charlie is talking about her grandma in this dialogue. She turns 80 years old this year, and she has these permanent lines around her mouth, downward. She rarely laughs. It's like she enjoys others being miserable around her. Everything is always bad. Don't trust anyone. Men suck. Life sucks. No one is how she wants them to be. And if you are actually enjoying life, she genuinely tries to upset you so that you are not happy. Then acts like she has no idea what you are talking about. And she could never be wrong about anything. She knows the best because she is the best. Does it sound familiar? Do you have anyone that you know of having the same opinions about life? Yeah, so that is Charlie, Love and Cliches. So the second one is Marriage for One. It's also by Elamis, and in this we follow Rose and Jack. Yes, like the Titanic, doomed from the beginning. This is a marriage of convenience. Although it seems a business deal sort of a thing, Jack is hiding something big from Rose. He has a big secret. This was a lovely read, a 5-star book for me, and I love this story. This has a great sense of humor. Also brought up important topics like integrity, how to reflect on your qualities and make yourself a better person, and also about forgiveness, forgiving the ones you love. One mistake doesn't define their whole character. Things like that. Important topics. I love that Elamis has always chosen the unconventional route when it comes to describing what a family is. So in this book, Rose does not have a family of her own and does not belong to any family. She has some relatives, but they are not close. Even though life didn't treat Rose well, she does not give up hope. She never gives up on the idea of a home, a building one for herself. I love this book. I highly recommend it. if you would like to read about these topics as well. There is this quote I love in this book. I'll read it to you. In the great scheme of things, we were nothing more than two people who had passed each other while walking through their lives. Couples broke up every day, and we were not special in that regard either. You cried yourself to sleep, then woke up and went to work. When you repeated the cycle enough times, one day you woke up and suddenly it didn't matter all that much. New people walked alongside you, and eventually you forgot the ones you left behind. I think this may sound familiar to anyone that has gone through a heartbreak in their lifetime. Next one we have is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood is one of my favorite authors. I know people say her stories are really similar to each other, like every book depicts the same woman, the same sort of background and profession. I understand where they're coming from, but it doesn't really matter to me. I love that she writes about women in STEM, and it's a very fun read. When you have a book written by Ali Hazelwood, you are guaranteed a fun time. In this book, we follow Elsie, a theoretical physicist, and Jack Smith, an experimental physicist. She offers herself as a fake girlfriend through this app, sort of an escort service. Jack, the main male character, turns out to be the big brother of her favorite client. What a twist. One day, her personal and her professional lives collide at a work event. So when she is at a work event, Jack recognizes her and he gets baffled because he doesn't know that Elsie is working for a similar company like he does. Because Elsie has obviously lied on that escort service app about her profession. So the story goes from there. As usual, Ali writes an amazing story. This was a pure joy to read. Her sense of humor, her sarcasm is out of this world. I'm not even exaggerating. If you have read any Ali Hazelwood books, you may know that her stories go beyond romance. The story brings out topics like navigating life with an illness, feeling insecure about your own values and abilities, also negative self-talk. So if you are interested in those topics and also a cute romantic story, you will love this book. There is this quote I love in this book. I'll read it to you. Somewhere along the way, your wires got crossed. Your brain decided that you are not worth people's time and effort, and that if you ask for anything, they won't just say no. They'll also leave you. He says it matter-of-factly. That's not how love works, Elsie. But don't worry for now. I'll show you. If that doesn't make you want to pick up this book, I don't know what will. The next is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hahn. This is the book. This book, what can I tell you? This book made me cry. For real. This is the first book I have read of Helen. I ate this up. I was so impressed with the story. I kept reading my favorite parts for weeks. I read this book about 2 years back, and I have not stopped thinking about it. In this book, we follow Stella and Michael. Stella has Asperger's syndrome. Because of that, she struggles being intimate with people. So she hires Michael. He offers escort services. She hires him to solve this problem because Michael is so good at social interactions, good with intimacy. When a person has Asperger's syndrome, they struggle to understand non-verbal communication, any gestures or body language. They all feel so foreign. As an empath, it broke my heart when the author described Stella's struggles in social situations. If you haven't read this book yet, I highly recommend you to pick up this book now. You will not regret it. There is one quote, my favorite one in this book. I'm going to read it to you. I have to think really hard when I talk. Otherwise, I blurt out rude things and I alienate everyone. It's because you are honest. People don't like the honest, except for when you are saying good things. Figuring out what people think is good is tricky, especially when you don't know them. It makes conversation a minefield. Next book is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I adore Sally Thorne's writing style. It's so easy to, it's so bingeable. This was such a witty, fun read. This is an office romance. We follow Lucy and Joshua in this story. They think they hate each other and always in some sort of a competition with each other. This book felt so relatable to me. Author explains what it feels to be lonely all the time in your life and how difficult it is to make friends as an adult. Also writes about having a quirky hobby that no one else understands. The story conveys a strong message saying that being different is okay. Following your goals with your whole heart, even when you don't know how to validate your success, is okay. I love that message. After finishing this book, I immediately went on to look for other Sally Thorne's books and read them all, but I didn't find others as delightful as this one. There are so many quotes and dialogues I love in this book, but I have marked my favorite one for you guys. It's strange walking along, trying to look at things through someone else's eyes, let alone your sworn enemies. I look at the cracks on the pavement and wonder if he treads on these when he takes a walk down to that little organic grocery store. Trying to decide if that's your regular cafe across the street or if you ever walk in the tiny park with a little fountain. I'm looking at the way the light shines off the pavement and looking at everything with these brand new eyes. So this quote is regarding her obsession with so-called enemy. So that's Hating Game. Next one is our favorite, the Queen, Emily Henry. So I have few favorites of Emily Henry's, but this is the latest one that I loved. It's a funny story. I did not have high expectations about this book because the one before, The Happy Place, it didn't really hit for me. I don't know why. I know a lot of people love the book. It was an okay read for me. I wasn't obsessed with it. I rated it 3 stars. But this one is a 5-star read for me. In this we have Daphne and Miles. I love that this story is about a girl who likes to lead an unpretentious life. She doesn't need much to be happy. I love that about Daphne. I love that the main male character, Miles, is not this extremely goal-oriented, muscular guy. He's just a normal guy that you see in your day-to-day life, perhaps. It's like you know people like Daphne and Miles in your circle. Like you could be friends with these type of people. Like it really feels like it could be a real story. That's why I love this book. I love how Emily has embedded different family dynamics into the story. Both characters are trying to steer their lives into a positive direction without giving into that victim mentality, because they both have a lot of issues going on with their families. So I'll read something from this book for you. I tempered my expectations, packed them tight into bricks, built a fortress to protect me. But keeping every glimmer of hope out has isolated me too. And I want to be seen. I want to be loved. I want to live with the hope that things can get better, even if in the end they don't. You were a shitty dad, I tell him. You were never there. I spent so much time just waiting for you. And when you did show up, it was never when you said. You never stuck around as long as you promised. And because of you, the whole world, my whole world, felt totally unpredictable. And maybe you really do love me, but I don't know that. How would I? I've never been your priority. I'm a pit stop. I feel really sad reading this part, but this is my favorite part of the book. This is Daphne talking to her father. I'm sure you must have read this book already, but if you haven't, highly recommend this book. So this one is the last one. You must have seen from my Instagram stories that I have started this book. I finished this book within a day because I could not put this book down. I was obsessed. This is my first Sarah Adams book. I did not really expect this to be this amazing. I was fully immersed in this story. I didn't even feel like this was a fictional world. We follow Emily and Jack. They're both teachers. They teach at the same school. They know each other from a long time. They met 10 years ago. Even though they have been in each other's lives for that long, they're not friends. They call themselves enemies. The banter is so good. I loved it. I usually don't like very bantery books because it could get mean really quickly. I don't like that about the banter and the bickering. But Sarah has done it really well. Her humor, something I really enjoy. Also, I purposely skimmed the parts where the author talks about other siblings of Emily, because they all have their own book. Now I want to read their own books too, so I skipped over the parts she talks about the other siblings. I talk about the sibling connection here. I don't know how this would sound, but I don't like to read many stories with big family dynamic, because sometimes the authors make it seem too good to be true, you know? Like they will depict the connection between siblings as unbreakable, this great love and bond between the siblings. I don't think that is simply true, because everyone is flawed. Everyone is, you can't show their best all the time. There are setbacks. You, especially with your siblings, you would get angry and you would yell. It's completely normal. But in a lot of the books, I cannot see that part. It's always they are very civil to each other. They love each other a lot. It's like that, and I don't really like to feel like. Then I feel like it's really fictional. I don't like that. I love to read about flawed characters. So Sarah has done an amazing job portraying sibling connection in this. What kept me hooked throughout the story was that the author brought out the raw emotions of these characters that they tried to hide in order to put up a brave front in front of others, especially as the older sibling, Emily, in this story. Also, Jack had some issues going on in his family with his father. So, author has given us a nice raw perspective to these feelings. I like that. It's really rare in romance books. I love the way Sarah writes. It's just sort of so funny and poetic at the same time. It's a great combination to have my favorite one from the book. Over the last 2 years, I have become conscious of how I used to hold my siblings back from their dreams because I was afraid of leaving me behind or them getting hurt. Afraid of that ever-creeping loneliness taking root in my heart and leaving a permanent ache. But that awareness has led to me championing my siblings toward their dreams, even if I secretly, and like a terrible, horrible monster, hoped they'd fall through. Misery and fear will do that to a person though. I love this part. This is the true emotions of an older sibling, and it's real. So yeah, that is Lake Borough of Steel by Sarah Adams. So those are all the books that I had for episode 1 of this series for 5-star reads. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and if you have read any of these books or all of these books, would you please let me know in the comments below? I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to know what was your rating of these books. If you haven't read any of these books yet, I highly recommend you to pick up one of these and just try and see, even if that's from an author you normally wouldn't read, you might enjoy it. So that's it for today, guys. I'll see you with a new video. Bye for now.